Welcome to the second ever Closers Forum. My God, look at this room. Woo! It's full of people. I love it. This is awesome. We had our first one a couple months ago. We had 13 people in here, and we got 13 contracts. Okay? Now, hey, Robert, you said you wanted to break some records, right? I think, do you think we're going to be able to do better than 13 contracts?
Oh, yeah. One person gets a deal.
There you go. So, we've got 3 continents represented here, right? Yep. Where's we got Panama?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We got Portugal. Where's Portugal? Portugal.
I love it.
Where are we at in the United States? Who's the furthest away? Who do they think? Where are you from? New Hampshire.
I think this is the first New Hampshire.
Yeah, that's a new one. What part of New Hampshire? Okay. All right. Wait. Do you listen to my podcast like every week?
That would be me.
Yes.
We found you.
It's like you, and there's a guy in Sweden that listens to every episode, and I'm always like, I want to meet you. Man, I'm so glad you're here. That's awesome.
RJ, you want his audio.
Yeah, right? Like, dude, you are dedicated. That's awesome. Well, why are you guys here? So let's start there. Why are you here?
Learn to close.
Learn to close?
Wholesale.
Why are you wearing a Buffalo Bills sweater?
In our house.
You know I'm a Patriots fan. I'm salty, man. We got a Sooner in here. We got a Bills fan. All right, so why are you here?
To learn and grow and to change my path in life and for my kids and stuff.
There you go. What about you? You came all the way here from Panama, right?
Yeah, I'm looking to establish a business here next year, so I want to learn. I'm in real estate in Panama.
Okay.
So
All right.
I will learn and practice here.
Love it.
That is important.
Love it. What about you?
To learn from one of the best it's ever done.
Well, I appreciate it. What about all the way in the back? What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, just come here for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're a good guy.
That's so weird. Most people come here mostly for me.
Yeah, right? I love it. Well, one of the things I want to talk about first is this. I came up with this because I love music. So for those of you that follow me, you probably heard me talk about it on the podcast. I cherish my 8-minute drive from the house to the office every morning. And one morning, I was on the way here, and I took my son to his first ever concert like a year ago, and I took him to see the Muse. Now, I'm not a big Muse fan, but I was like, Muse, Evanescence, that seems child-friendly. It was at Dickies Arena. I was like, all right, we'll do that. And I never really paid attention to what the Muse's music was about. They're like heavily political, so it was not as child-friendly as I was hoping. But I kind of fell in love with them a little bit, and they have this song called Contagion. Now, the running joke is I actually don't know what the song's about, and I don't think I want to figure out what the song's about, but I really like the words Contagion, and it made me start thinking about in this industry, okay, there is this running theory that like you cannot do one dial closes, right? Who here is told like the follow-ups and the gold, or the gold's in the follow-up, right? That you have to have 25 different forms of lead generation, right? There's all these different things that people are pumping out there, and the theory behind the contagion is that it's become where everyone starts believing it, where it's like, literally the other day, I was live on YouTube. Did anybody watch the live where I was closing deals? So I'm live. First 2 sellers I talked to, I sent contracts to. Right after that, someone comes on, and their first comment, I didn't even know who they were, says, hey, my team of closers is afraid to close deals on the first dial because they're worried that they'll lose the lead. And I'm like, you just watch me. What is the point? The point in doing this is to get the contract. So then we can assign the contract, and that's how we get checks. You just saw me do that, and you're saying my team is afraid to do this. Why? Because the theory is that you're not supposed to be able to do that. You're not supposed to ask a seller the second question out of your mouth, how much do you want for the property? I get roasted by it all day, every day on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's like, oh, that only works for RJ. Well, this is why we're here today to do this with a room full of people, because we're going to prove it is not just something that I do. We've already proven it in here. Cassie does it. My team does it. My team, like, the average age of our team is what?
22, 30.
22?
Yeah.
They're mainly 21-year-olds. They do it all day, every day. So you guys are here to break this. My goal is this contagion that we have, that you cannot do this, that it has to be complicated, because the reason why is because no one else is doing the work. These other people that are selling education, they don't get on the phone with sellers. They're not doing it anymore. They're hiring people, and they're telling them to do things the way that they've been doing them for the past 5 to 10 years. The difference is you guys come here, and you've seen me get on the phone and talk to sellers and close deals over and over and over again. So now, when you guys walk out of here, you should be able to do the exact same thing. And when you hear people say, you can't do one dial closes, be like, that's old school thinking. We absolutely can do that, okay? The other thing is acquisitions is your business's heart. Listen, I am so passionate about this. This is actually a thumbnail for my YouTube channel. It's about 4.5 minute video. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. I'm not going to play it for you guys because I don't want to take up, we're on a tight schedule today. But someone asked me, they're afraid to pick up the phone and talk to sellers. How do you overcome that? You have to figure out what you're here for. Like you said, you're here to change your kids' lives, right? You want to start you're doing real estate already in Panama, and you want to start a business here. You have a purpose, you have a vision, you have a why on why you're wanting to do this. Our whole business starts with acquisitions. Without acquisitions, we have nothing to sell. We have to get the contract, okay? If you have properties under contract, you always have the ability to make money. The facts are, dispositions-wise, you can always just JV with somebody. You can always, we just did it the other day. We just sold a property in New Western for our asking price, and then they went and sold it for like a little $5,000 fee. You can always just wholesale your deals to the big box wholesalers if you need to. But you have to have a property under contract to be able to do that. So it starts with acquisitions. That's why I'm so passionate about this event. It's why we got rid of the Crucible and created this. So it's about action taken. So you guys actually do it. I will tell you, we had 13 people here, the first one. We had 2 people think about quitting during the event.
Like leaving.
We had a gentleman from New York get in his car, and he almost left. Do you know why? Because we told him he had to pick the fucking phone up.
Dude, I'm not kidding. And it's more than that. I think, too, like, part of why the thought contagion exists, part of why people don't, like, when it hits them in the face that you actually have to learn how to do this, you actually have to learn how to underwrite, you actually have to learn how to, the numbers. You can't just follow some script off some YouTube channel that you saw for free. Like, you actually have to put in the reps. People quit.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Shout out to him, because he got in his car to leave, and then he remembered why he was here. He runs a restaurant. He works 24/7. That was my old life. I totally understand where he's coming from. It's miserable. He's having twins, and he wants to have time with his family. He wants to be there for his wife, to be there for his twins. So he came back in, and guess what? The next dial he placed, he got the property under contract. Okay? It starts, though, with acquisition. You have to be willing to do it. And like Cassie said, put in the reps. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Y'all are not going to pick the phone up today and immediately just nail the closers formula. Okay? You're going to make mistakes. That's why you're here. Make the mistakes in front of us so we can fix you, though. Okay? And sometimes it's like a very small little thing. Jamie came up to the office, and Jamie was like the rock star of the first closers formula, right? He sent 5 contracts. Came up to our office to hang out for a couple of days, and I was walking right past him, and I heard him say, "Tell me a little bit about what you got going on with the property." So as we get into the closers formula, you're going to hear me start saying, "Hey, say certain things." But when we say, "Tell me a little bit about what you got going on," that's just with whatever they want to talk about. But when you add with the property, all of his answers were, it's 3.2, 1,200 square foot, slightly remodeled. Yeah, I mean, what else do you want to know? And he wasn't going anywhere with the conversation. Make those mistakes today so we can fix it, and then you understand the reason why. That's why we want to be taking the action today live in person. All right. Anybody heard me talk about excuse plus a story before? Right? This is like, Cassie, would you say this is like the only thing I ever talked about with Pizza Hut? Pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, 8 years of corporate training at Pizza Hut. This is like the thing that I still talk about. Excuse plus a story. We had a lot of excuses for this to not happen today, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We didn't have running water until when?
Yesterday at 11:30.
I mean, it was pretty gnarly in here. We were like...
Sema was like, "So what's our backup plan?" I'm like, "There's a hotel with a conference room open somewhere in Fort Worth. We'll be all right."
I'm like, the backup plan is when it finally thaws out the pipes, we're going to be going get some mops and cleaning this place ourselves. But the theory behind excuse plus a story is you have your excuse why you're not going to do something, and then you tell the full story. Okay, we all do it. Okay, we all do it on a very regular basis. Where, for example, do you know how many people I have been told that they can't come to one of our events because they live in another country? I want to do this so bad, RJ, but I live in Spain. My response is always, do planes not fly from Spain to the United States? I thought you said you really want to do it, right? So what we want to change the narrative from is telling the excuse and then your story, right? It's, "Hey, RJ, I had great intentions of running a virtual wholesaling business, but first couple of $1,000 in leads I spent, I didn't get anything. And now I don't have any money, so the story is I'm going to wait until I get some more money, and then I'll start talking to sellers again." Okay? The difference would be, okay, the reason why I'm struggling right now is because I ran out of money. But my solution is I'm going to start calling FSBOs, and I'm going to ask somebody that's successful if I can start calling some of their dead leads. Here's the reason why I'm not where I'm at, but I have a solution. Instead of here's an excuse plus a story. So you have to change the narrative. So one of the things we decided to do, because the feedback that we got from the first closers formula is, man, I loved those sexy inbound leads. That was amazing, right? But I can't necessarily afford those sexy inbound leads until I close some more deals. And then, life happens. I've got a car payment. I got a mortgage. I got all these different things that I got to pay. And so it's like this constant back and forth game that I'm playing financially. So one of the things that we've changed about the closure formula is you're going to get inbound leads, but you're also going to get skip trace data that you're going to cold call, and we're going to call FSBOs. So no matter where you are, it's going to work. And guess what? I go live for 2.5 hours, calling inbound leads. I got 2 contracts. I go live for 2.5 hours with FSBOs. I got 1 contract. It doesn't matter. This whole theory that the closure formula only works with a lead Zolo lead is bullshit. Okay? We're going to use the exact same thing cold calling. We're going to use the exact same thing with direct mail. We're going to use the exact same thing with, doesn't matter the lead generating tactic. Okay? So we're going to eliminate all the excuses that we have where budget might be a constraint to not use the closers formula. Okay? All right. You guys mind if me and Cassie tell a little bit about our story about how we became the king closer? You guys are good with that?
It's
All
probably
right.
good because we're probably gonna do it anyways.
That's the second choice. Fine.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
It's just easier if you're happy about it.
So the reason why we want to share this is because we do think it's important for you guys to understand where we came from and how this came about, because this wasn't always how we did business. And we pick up the story here. Where is this? What's the date? August 14th, 2019. Okay. So to give you an idea, Cassie and I went full time in real estate January 1st of 2015. We closed our first deal August of 2014. So we were 5 years into wholesaling when we pick up the story, okay? This was this seller right here is the first seller that I ever talked to on a YouTube video.
It's the first recorded call you
Yes.
ever did.
So I had just gotten a webcam for the podcast. And our cold caller that was in-house, we didn't have virtual assistants, said, hey, baby daddy's landlord she wants to sell the house, okay? And she knows that it's distressed and she needs to sell the property on a discount. Here's her phone number. So I'm like, dude, this is a laydown. I'm just going to call and I'm going to close it and I'm going to do it recorded and this is going to be awesome.
Mind you, I was like, why are you recording it? Like that was where we were at this time. Like I was like, why are you recording it? And he really couldn't explain it to me.
So call, she wants $15,000 above after repair value. I literally look at my cold caller and I'm like, why the fuck am I in this call? And she's like, I didn't know, I'm so sorry. And so the video is called Making an Offer $120,000 Below Seller's Asking Price. This is us getting the property under contract. What we did with this property is we went under contract, we closed, a week before we closed on it, we submitted it to Open Door. And right after we closed, they did their inspection, and 2-3 weeks later we closed and we made $40,000. So we made the offer, $120,000 below. I had to do a lot of seller education, and looking back at it, I made mistakes on the call, but there was a lot of really good things, foundational elements to what we're going to talk about today in the closures formula in that call. I was sick as a dog on this too, despite being super sick. So here we are. November 4th is when we actually closed on it with Open Door. Okay. So that was like the first time I'd ever gone live publicly. And then later that year, I got invited to participate in the Closers Olympics, the 2020 Closers Olympics. And it was funny because, has anybody ever heard me refer to myself as the token white guy? Y'all never heard me say that before? So I got a call at 11:30 at night from Aaron Bevins, and he was like, hey, bro, do you want to be a part of this closers competition? And I was like, maybe. He's like, so we're going to go live. It's going to be like a Zoom call with like 12 of us, and it's going to be a competition. I was like, well, who else is in it? And he was like, me, Quentin Flores, Donovan Ruffin. And he starts naming off everybody. And I was like, am I the token white guy? Like, because, I mean, I was the only white guy. And he laughed, and he was like, yeah, bro, you totally are. He was like, the only two white guys we could think of that, you know, we would think that would do this would be you or Corey Thompson, so we called you first. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Now, what's funny is, you know, with me being the token white guy, we totally missed the fact that we had no females.
Yeah.
We missed the other 50% of the, you know, sex involved. So, but we got the white guy in there, thank God. So what's funny is I agreed to it, and I thought that it was going to be like a small little Zoom. And it turned out to be this huge thing with thousands of people. They were selling tickets. I remember the first Zoom call we had about it. I was like, oh, wow, I don't know if I signed up for something I really want to be a part of. This is kind of risky, you know? So I actually started putting in reps, calling sellers. This is me at one of Cassie's this is Cassie's house. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to a seller. We were working out of her house. This is where we did the first 50-day challenge too, by the way. So I'm sitting there talking to sellers, getting my reps in. And this is right in the middle of the worst time for titanium investments ever. This is
tragedy.
This is on the backside of RJ's Cookie Monster days. Okay, so the Cookie Monster days were every property that came on, we decided we weren't going to wholesale, we were going to keep because we had access to private capital. We owned like hundreds of properties. They were all failing, and I was a huge asshole about it. I was blaming everybody except for me. So I was a poor leader, basically. So this is where my love.
All failing. You're exaggerating.
It was bad.
But it was a shit show.
It was bad. I mean, this is how bad it was. This is May 18th, 2020. We spent the past 6 days working on this rehab project in Anchorage, Alaska. So literally, when I say we spent 6 days, Cassie and I flew to Anchorage, Alaska, slept on an air mattress inside of our rehab, and basically did manual labor on it to get it finished so then we could sell it. I mean, that's how bad things were going at the time.
I don't have regrets about that one. If anybody's ever been to Anchorage, worth it.
That picture was taken at like 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
Yeah.
It was really hard to sleep because the sun just never set, so it was just like we just worked 24 hours a day. But I remember while we were there and knowing that the Closures Olympics was like the week after we came back, I remember asking Cassie and saying, hey, I think we might have made a mistake with me doing this. I mean, these guys, they go live on Instagram all the time. They're live on YouTube, closing, talking to sellers. This is not something that we necessarily do because we weren't doing virtual closings. What we were doing was belly-to-belly appointments. And it was like, hey, I'm pretty nervous about this. And this was just like the moment when we started our business. It normally only takes one sentence from Cassie and it fixes everything. Like the way we became entrepreneurs is Cassie said, hey, you think we should start a business? Here we are 14 years later. This moment, I said, I think I made a mistake. And she said, just go be you. And with that moment, it was over. The confidence that it gave me, and I said, okay, I just have to be myself. My partner said, just be myself, and it'll be okay no matter what the results are. So,
I mean, have you met the guy?
So, final press conference. I'll never forget. They bring us on, and the trash talking started getting ready for the Closures Olympics. Okay, the reason why the trash talking started is because that first Zoom call that we had, they said, hey guys, we want to treat this like a WWE promotion. Okay, we want you guys trash talking each other, and I was like, dude, I'm a bald white guy. I'm the white guy. So I'll be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I can totally do a Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Aaron Bevins
From
was
Texas.
like, I got the eyebrows, bro. I'll be The Rock. And so that's where it started. We actually agreed that he was going to be The Rock and I was going to be Stone Cold. So I went out and I literally watched Stone Cold Steve Austin promos.
Facts.
And one where he was like saying what over and over and over again. And I was like, this is epic. So I literally cut a video and posted it. And then like a couple days went by and no one else did it. And I remember like in the group chat being like, hey, why isn't anybody else like And they were like, yeah.
He was like, why y'all let me look out here looking like the white trash guy that watches WWE?
They were like, bro, you took it a little too literal. And I was like, oh shit.
RJ does not do anything lightly.
I was like, all right,
hardcore.
We're running with it now, baby. Like, we're going. So I made memes. I literally paid a guy to make the picture of me giving Aaron Bevins a stunner. And I'll never forget during the press conference, Max Maxwell said, RJ, you have done so much trash talking. If you don't bring it, bro, your brand is dead. And at the time, Max Maxwell was like the dude.
He was still in real estate then.
Yeah, he was like the guy. So when he said that, I was like, oh, fuck. Like Max Maxwell literally just put like an expiration date on like my brand. And I was like, okay, well, Cassie said just be yourself. So I went out there and in the first 30-minute segment, the Closures Olympics was different back in 2020. We were doing head-to-head matchups. But in the first 30-minute segment, I got 2 verbal agreements and everyone freaked out. And I literally went out back, had Cassie toss me 2 Miller Lights. I smashed them over my head. I did the did the whole Stone Cold thing.
I'm working on a painting of that moment.
By the way,
right now.
if you have never done that before,
It is not fun.
I've done it multiple times, and especially if you're excited, because I've always done it after I won the Closers Olympics. You always get beer up your nose, bro. I don't know how Steve Austin does it, but it's not fun. But everything blew up from the Closers Olympics. Now, long story short, Carlos fucked me in the second round for his brother-in-law. The winner of the first Closers Olympics is this guy, his head acquisitions and brother-in-law. And I lost by 1 point in the Closers Olympics. So I decided this is not over. I'm embracing the fact that I am the people's champ. Then I embrace, like, now I'm just doing everything. The Rock is the people's champ.
If anybody didn't watch, everybody went nuts, and they literally named him the people's champ because they're like, no, he fucking got robbed. Sorry, we cussed, by the way. He got robbed. Blah, blah, blah. He definitely won. They stole that from him, so he rolled with that.
So on that note, though, it has not always just been me closing deals. I get a lot of credit because of the camera, but this is the day after the Closers Olympics. Cassie locked up a contract in 13 minutes and 48 seconds on her first dial after the Closers Olympics.
I literally, the day after the Closers Olympics, I was like, dude, the only person that would be competition for me in that competition is you. So I was like, I should have recorded that call.
We should have recorded, but we weren't doing that back then. So
yeah.
It's always been us doing this way. And it was hilarious because the feedback from that first Closers Olympics is, man, RJ, you are so aggressive on the phone. And it actually annoyed me because it was like, no, I'm aggressive because they gave us a 30-minute shot clock in our face. I was trying to get it done in a timely manner. So it actually kind of irritated me there for a while. But it blew up our brand. This is an actual email sent by one of the sponsors after the Closers Olympics. The event was not without its fair share of drama. You had the perfect storm of late-night dialing, savvy sellers. Then you had RJ. I don't even know what that means. But when I saw this email come across, I was like, holy cow. People are literally using my name in their marketing now from the Closers Olympics. I think we're on to something. Like, it's always good when people can't get your name out of their mouth, right? So, right after that, I mean, that was May 20-something. June 22nd, Pace Morby goes on a 25-hour live. And he invites me to come on and talk about acquisitions. And I remember being inspired by this moment because I'm crazy, right? 25 hours live, that's intense. Like, I've tried to figure out how he's done it or why he did it.
Adult diapers.
Like, who was watching at 3:30 in the morning?
Right?
Like, was there anyone watching at 3:30 in the morning?
What is he doing at 3:30 in the morning?
Right, he wasn't even talking to sellers.
For? You're not talking to sellers.
This man is a man of many talents. He just found a way to talk for 25 hours.
Yeah.
So he invited me on.
I would need a nap. You'd be seeing me snooze.
And I was inspired by it, okay? But what also happened during this is I just read The Extreme Ownership and completely changed my mindset. COVID had happened in early 2020, and we adopted the open door closing style, which we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But essentially what we're going to be doing today, where it's, hey, we're buying it sight unseen, and then we're going to come out and do our inspection, and then we're going to tell you if we're good to move forward. So we started doing a lot of virtual closings. Closers Olympics happened. From that, I read the book Relentless. And when I read the book Relentless, I fell in love with it because I found out, who's read Relentless before? Anybody? Okay, so in that's written by Tim Grover, and who was Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade's trainer. Basically, explain what a cleaner is, and that was what Jordan and Kobe were. And I was like, dude, this guy is talking about me right now. This is who I am. And our business is doing so poorly because I lacked extreme ownership. But we fixed that. We have a plan moving forward. The Hedgehog concept is nationwide virtual wholesaling. This is what we're going to be doing. And I'm a cleaner. And a cleaner's mindset is it's the fourth quarter and we're behind. Give me the damn ball. I'm going to go win the game. So I came up with an idea, and I came to Cassie, and this is me, before anything, this is me making the announcement, almost holding myself accountable that I was going to do it. I had such a blast during the Closers Olympics, showcasing my acquisition style. I'm thinking about doing something unique in the style of what Pace Morby did, and challenging myself to achieve a massive goal live. So I went to Cassie and I said, hey, I want to do 50 deals in 50 states in 50 days live on YouTube. And she's like, why?
Why?
She's like,
why do we want to do this?
She's like, RJ, we've never done deals in the Dakotas, Montana, all these different
We
random
hadn't done
places.
deals in like 23 or so
We had done
states.
deals in 26 states, so 24 states we had not done deals
24
in.
states we had never done a deal in. I'm like, it's a whole state. Like,
So
what?
here's me making the announcement July 17th. The idea came from reading the book Relentless. Gave shout out to Pace Morby. And I basically walked it out and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go live every single day using batch leads. And the deal is to get a deal every single day in a new state. And what I told Cassie is I need to do this as a cleaner and who I am. I wanted to make the world my accountability partner. And if I do it for 50 days straight, what will come from it is all of the systems and processes that our company needs moving forward will be developed directly from me doing it for 50 days straight. So any mistakes that I'll make, I'll be like, okay, here's how we avoid that. Any success I have, this is how we do it. So this is how the Crucible actually was developed. Everything that we taught at the Crucible for years was developed from those 50 days. From the how we pull a list to how I was comping to the questions that we were asking, everything came from this 50-day challenge, okay? Now, right after that, I gave my reaction to the 50-day challenge. We did 86 deals in 49 states. It was crazy because looking back at it, we didn't have things like investor lift for dispositions, okay?
You forgot to tell about how originally you were going to do acquisitions and dispositions on the 50-50.
Yeah, I thought I was the ultimate cleaner. So what I told her is I was going to acquire them and sell them on the live. And the theory is I would be live and Beth would be watching and I'd be like, Beth, where are you from? And Beth would say, where?
Central Florida.
Orlando, Florida. And so I would get a deal in Orlando, Florida, and I'd say, hey, Beth, thank you for watching every day. Will you please JV with me on this deal and sell this deal that I just got in Orlando, Florida? The problem
Nice in theory.
That every single person that was watching me wasn't really doing deals because they were just watching me. And so I didn't have anybody to really JV with. And so it got spiraled out of control. Cassie had to dispo everything.
You have fun? The real magic.
Yeah.
After the 50-50-50, I legitimately wanted to go on sabbatical for 2 months.
Yeah.
And he's forgetting to mention that I also TC'd.
Well, okay, we had Keaton a little bit. So Keaton helped a little bit with...
Keaton was sending text blasts to buyers for me.
Yeah. It was crazy. But we did it. And we're all happy about it. We're all happy that you went through that pain and misery, okay?
I'm just letting you guys know in case you have these harebrained ideas. You should probably consult with us. It was brutal. It was brutal.
It was brutal.
It was a lot of fun. But
this is a classic example of what came from the 50-day challenge, right? What do you do when a seller calls you an ignorant motherfucker and hangs up on you? Like these moments that I had repeatedly, where in the past, if someone that was working for us had a seller call and tell them they're an ignorant motherfucker, they would hang up. They'd come walk over and they're like, dude, this guy just called me an ignorant motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And then it would just be a story and we'd laugh about it and we'd move on. But the difference is it happens to me. I'm live on YouTube and I say no. And I call him back and he doesn't answer. And I double dial him. And then he answers. And the reason why I did that is because I was looking at the data and I was seeing that he had a house that was on pre-foreclosure. He was delinquent on taxes and he was facing auction. So I called him back and I said, I'm so sorry that I text your deceased wife, but I see that you're about to lose your real estate and I might be able to help you. And he says, dude, that was the love of my life. It triggered me, but you're right. I am about to lose my house and I do need to sell. And then we were able to solve his problems. And it was these types of moments over and over and over again that led to the confidence of, hey, we are going to change the way that we do things. We are going to be more aware of what's happening on the phone with sellers and the fact that we are trying to solve their problems, even when they say crazy things like ignorant motherfucker, right?
And just so you guys know, just as a little side note, at that point, we had already had $1 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We already knew a lot of what we were doing. And we went that psycho. We went that all in on getting, wait, we don't say those words. We went that hardcore on putting in the reps to figure out where there were flaws.
And I started realizing a lot of sellers ask the same questions over and over and over again. Where'd you get my information? I pulled the list of absentee owners and I skip traced it, right? What kind of houses are you looking for? Cheap, dirty, and ugly. It's hilarious because I would say that, and the sellers that were not motivated or didn't have a cheap, dirty, and ugly house would hang up the phone. But the ones that did would say, well, I got just the thing for you. And it was the greatest closing of all time. And they're like, dude, only RJ could do this. And I'm like, only RJ can say cheap, dirty, and ugly? What do you mean? Anybody could say this. And so we started being real and raw and authentic with sellers because I don't know how to do it any other way. And the more I embraced that and the more I started buying into it, the more success we started having, okay? So I started talking about it more and more. We got this office. We started building the team. And in my 8-minute drive one morning, I got a call from Jesse Burrell at Batch who said, RJ, you've got to start doing education. And I was like, no way, bro. We just got pointed in the right direction this is March 13th, 2021. So basically a 10-month span from us being in Anchorage, Alaska, finishing work, doing manual labor on a house, to what happened at the Closers Olympics, doing the 50-day challenge, doing those 86 deals, getting the office, start building our team back up, digging from the trenches, and then what I always talk about, have a hedgehog concept, right? Here's someone that says, go against your hedgehog concept, start doing education. And the immediate answer was no. But what he said is so impactful, and I still think about it to this day. He said, there's someone out there today that is going to spend $10,000 because they want to learn what you know. So you either can accept the $10,000 and know that you're the right person to teach them how to do things the right way, or that person can go give $10,000 to the wrong person and learn how to do things the wrong way. And you have a responsibility to yourself, to your team, and to your family to accept that $10,000 for what you know how to do, because no one knows how to do things better than what you just did during those past 50 days. I said, damn, Jesse, all right. Fuck, all right, you broke my hedgehog concept. So I said, here's the thing. I'm going to go talk to Cassie, and I'm going to see what Cassie says, because I knew Cassie was going to say no. So I went to Cassie, and she said, fuck yes.
I'm the keeper of the hedgehog, bro. I am. I'm like, no, there's too much. No, we're not building our team to be bigger. No, I'm not training more people right now. No, we've got to do this. I am like such a psycho about it because I'm like, time management for me is vital to my existence. And he thought for sure I would be like, no, but here's the truth, you guys. Like, I'm very altruistic. Like, I can't help it. Like, I want to share everything that we've been through. It's been something that my mom placed it spoke into existence from the time I was born. Everything she'd ever gone through in her life, she had some doozies, right? And she always used to say to me, I didn't go through all of this so that I couldn't keep you from making some of the mistakes that I've made, right? And like that principle applies so heavily to what motivates us and it's just in us. Like we're born with it. Like we want to teach people what we're doing. We want to teach them how to pivot. We don't want them to go through the Cookie Monster era. We don't want them to, break their hedgehog concepts when they're not ready to pivot or, we don't want 2020 to happen and watch people go out of business doing what we do when they can be saved. Do you know what I mean?
So we repeat the same things over and over and over again because it's the lessons that we learn. This is our first ever titanium crucible. We did it standing back over there in the corner. We had about 6 people in here. And I remember the feeling of just that was amazing. I can't believe 6 people came here for us to teach what we do. And now, fast forward, what is it? Almost 3 years later.
3 years.
Seeing how many of you guys are here, it's been an awesome ride. So, from that first crucible, I, of course, had to buy into, I have to go win a Closers Olympics, right? I'm still not the king closer, right? I did the 50-day challenge. And so I immediately started, what is this? This is August 13th, 2021. I said, who do you want me to beat in the 2021 Closers Olympics? Man, the world loves Pace Morby. He's never going to do it. So I said, the people have spoken. I know Pace is a man of the people. Will the real Pace stand up to my challenge? No, he did not.
He'll never
But
do it.
I started the trash talking, right? I started my Vegas odds for the Closers Olympics. Poor Aaron Bevins. He couldn't win if they gave him 10,000 attempts.
Oh my God.
So I started the trash talk right here. If you guys don't know, Naaman Taylor is one of our students, so that's why I put Naaman up there. Started having fun with it. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but see how I'm in the middle and I'm colored this time?
You're not in black and white.
Did you guys notice the first time? They barely had it. They were like,
we have a token white guy, but
they were like, can we make this guy just blend into the background? We don't want people to know he's here. And then, the next one, it's like, bam, right in the middle. So the trash talk, I decided trash talk has to go everywhere. Okay, so I started going after the judges because really my problem with the 2020 Closers Olympics was with Carlos Reyes' judging. So I said, does Sean Terry still really sell REI education on VHS tapes? Why did the All In entrepreneurs disappear? Because if you notice, everyone from All In retired from closing. Does Pace Morby know how to count past 2? And will Max Jimenez take last place for Aaron Bevins, or will Steve Trang save his partner? Because Steve moved to judging as well. So I started the trash talk at 2021 Closers Olympics. For those of you who don't know, I actually did it in a hotel room in Cleveland, Ohio, because I was at my son's hockey tournament. That's us on our flight to Cleveland. He made his championship game the day of the finals of the Closers Olympics. So 2021 Closers Olympics, I won. It was pretty dominating fashion. I went against Nick Perry in the first round. I think Nick Perry admitted he had not talked to a seller in 4 years. He had no idea why he was in the competition. And then in the finals, they literally had to end the event 15 minutes early because it was over. That's where the Pat Hilton line comes from, where he's like, "It's over! It's a TKO!" And it was hilarious because in the private chat on the side, the Jen Coronado, who runs it, she's Elijah Rubin's wife, she was like, "Pat, do not stop. What are you doing?"
They weren't ready to clip.
They weren't ready
to rap, and Pat was like, "Dude, why are we still making RJ calls?"
Pat's like, "It's over. It's over." So he called it. And what I remember about this moment is with the reps that I put in from the 50-day challenge, with the feedback that I had gotten from the 2020 Closers Olympics, and everything that we were doing with the Crucible, I have never been more confident than anything I've ever done until the 2023 Closers Olympics. But at that moment, I'd never been more confident in anything that I'd ever gone into. And I literally was like, it is it is over. I am going to dominate this.
And they actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they actually were invited some females to compete in the second one. And they
won.
They literally, what was,
No, judge.
yeah, they're judges.
One.
Yeah.
The only one gets to actually talk, okay?
So what was really crazy about it is, like, first and foremost, they told me that I was competing.
Yes, they did tell you.
In that, they didn't ask me. I was like, what makes you think I'm going to compete in this, you know? Like, first of all, my uncle's getting married that weekend. There's no way I'm doing it. I know I can't do it. But second of all, RJ, you know, being gone with the tournament and everything, it was crazy because I will never forget it. I had to watch everything. It was just so weird. I was like driving during part of it, but when he came on, when they brought him on camera, he didn't even indicate to me like how confident he was, and I was like, "Are you like, how are you feeling? You ready to show them who the fuck you are?" You know, like that's me. I'm over here getting him like pumped up, like beating his chest from across the country, and he's like, yeah, he's cool as a cucumber, and I already know that. But when they pulled him on that camera, let me tell y'all, I was like, oh my God, like I just know this man, he is going to destroy them. Like he was so ready. Like I was like, I don't know if y'all ever, you know, have seen this in somebody. But he was ready for like war. He was ready for battle. There was going to be no stopping him. Like nothing would have stopped him ever.
Well, what was funny is I felt like I should have already won this in 2020. So it was like I felt like it was something that got taken away from me.
Yeah.
And then I realized the importance of it because up until this moment, from the 2020 Closure Olympics to this, every single day I received messages from someone saying, dude, you got robbed in 2020. I can't believe it. I mean, it was a constant reminder. And with the amount of phone calls that I had taken, the amount of closed deals that we had done, I mean, it was like, this is not a question of whether or not we're going to be able to do this or not. So, from there, that's the winning moment. It was hilarious. The only mistake that I made during the entire Closures Olympics is because I was going on my son's hockey tournament is I did not bring one titanium piece of clothing for the Closures Olympics. So I always laugh. Day one, I'm wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat because at that point in time, Brady had gone to the Buccaneers, so I was, of course, a Buccaneers fan. And my son's hockey team is the Tigers, so I won the Closures Olympics wearing my son's hockey gear. It's the only thing I ever remember about.
And RJ pretty much lives in titanium gear. I don't know if you guys have recognized that.
Yeah, people are like, is that hat literally attached to your head? It's like, yes. So immediately afterwards, I start the trash talk back up. When Aaron Bevins says you aren't a cleaner. Because remember, whenever I take something, I was open about, hey, the 50-day challenge came from Relentless and me being a cleaner. Aaron Bevins decided right before this to poke the bear and say, bro, you're not going to win. You're not a cleaner. And I remember when Cassie talks about that moment of like looking like I want to fuck some shit up, it was not about winning or the king close or anything like that. It was the fact that he said I wasn't a cleaner. Like that was like, dude, I am a chip on your shoulder type of guy. I will find anything. I will make up stories like that Michael Jordan story where he literally just makes up that a guy trash talked him in the hallway. Like that is me. I just make shit up. Like someone like, look, y'all watched the live the other day, La Buena, right? I did the Pace Morby reaction video, and La Buena was the wholesaler that brought him a deal, right? Then La Buena showed up, and her first question was, is it true that you're a one-man team and you don't have a team? Let me tell you how my cleaner mind works and how competitive I am. I immediately was like, fuck Pace. And Pace is my boy. Well, I'm like, Pace must be in his community making some shit up about me being a one-man team. I'm going to prove him wrong.
This is how much he does it. I had to make him stop doing it with me. I'm like, I didn't do that. Like, I didn't do that. Like, you don't need to. I am not the target. I now do it sometimes too, and it's not my natural. But I've literally done that with like Pace, our friends. Like I'm like, remember, like what did somebody say? And you called him, and I was like, what the fuck did Pace do? I was so mad at Pace. I was like, I'm going to call him right now. And then
the chip on your shoulder thing, I mean, it's literally, I came out of my office after live. I should have been super pumped about it. And I was like, more content. We got to double down on everything. Pace is talking shit. We got to bring the team on. We got to show that there's more bodies going on in here. So anyways, that's where that comes from.
we're a hot mess.
Right after that, this is where my love for paper leads came from. Okay, Speed to Lead comes out, and they were talking shit about the Closures Olympics. They were like, "Where was Speed to Lead? You should have had good leads." Because up to this point, the first two Closures Olympics, we were cold calling. Okay, so then Speed to Lead comes around and says, "Dude, you should have used our leads." So they invited me to defend my crown as king closer using their leads. So they were like, who do you want to go against? And they were like, you should definitely go against Aaron Bevins because, y'all love fighting. So I went live. This was December 23rd, literally one of the worst days of the year to do a closers competition, by the way. But this is where the closers cage matches. This is where I started using Speed to Lead leads. Got a pretty decent sized little contract on that one and won that first closers cage match. Then I got the first belt, which looking back, man, it was kind of weak in comparison to some of the other ones. But I was so proud of it, man. But I want you guys to understand my attitude towards things, okay? I'm never satisfied. Like, you guys could come in here and we could walk out with 82 contracts tomorrow, and every single one of you have 2 contracts, and I'm not going to be happy, okay? I want more. We can always do more.
We'll be happy for a minute. Jesus.
So, this is my post winning the Closures Olympics. I said, new trophy, but the same attitude. You see some people win trophies and then retire from competition. That was a shot at All In. Not me. I welcome it from everyone because I've been fighting for everything I've earned since day one. I don't know how to quit just because someone handed me a trophy. I don't know how not to want to beat your ass every day and twice on Sunday. I'm ready to go all in. Another shot at All In. I'm making sure nobody even wants to compete in next year's Closures Olympics. I challenge anyone to step up, and we will go call for call with Motivated Sellers live with no judges except the live audience. In 2020, we had the Joe Biden of king closers. Nobody respected that crown. Now that I am the king, I will leave no doubts and will be acknowledged. So I openly put it out there, and literally as soon as I did that, because what I found out is everyone thought I should have won in 2020. The moment I won in 2021, my DMs started filling up with people saying, I could close better than you. I could close better than you. You didn't do that good. So I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, let's do it. So we started doing the closers competitions, went undefeated in those. But then what was cool about it is that the fact that I doubled down on continuing to do live seller calls. I started doing batch TV. Everything that started coming along, people like Brent Daniels started recognizing and saying, hey, dude, why don't you come on my podcast? I'd already been doing real estate for 6.5 years at this point. Brent Daniels has never asked me to come on. But now all of a sudden putting ourselves out there and doing things differently, Brent Daniels says, hey, come on my podcast. Right? I love this one. This is one of my DMs that I got. You should really think about hiring some salespeople or maybe taking 2 to 3 sales courses. I know you got your own style and being authentic is your selling point, but you can still combine that with better sales techniques. It's painful to see some of these leads you're having just go to waste. Waste. Go.
Yeah. It also says 2/3, not 2 to 3.
Right? So this was like the norm, right? People started like questioning what we were doing because we had won, right? And I realized very quickly when you win, people want to see you come down, all right? So it took 6 months for me to get my post-Closers Olympics post-conference. To give you an idea, 2020, when the Closers Olympics ended, the next day they had the post-conference anointing Adrian as the champion. It took 6 months. They introduced me as the most hated man in real estate. Yeah,
Right?
wow.
That's an epic picture right
Yeah, well, it was taken right here. I was doing a crucible. Bro, I was so irritated. I mean, it was like the disrespect. Again, I'm finding chips on my shoulder, right? I'm just planting them up there for me. Okay? I got invited to go to Wholesaling Live, which was part of an inspiration to this, right? Where we were actually, they gave leads the audience was calling leads. I got asked to go up on stage. I closed a deal in 16 minutes up there. That's where I got this belt. And it was another validating moment to what we do here every single day, even when you're standing in front of 500 people, works. Are you looking to sell? How much are you looking to get for it? Tell me a little bit about what you got going on. We had people screaming in microphones. I mean, was anybody there at that wholesaling live? You were there. I mean, it was intense, right? I mean, it was crazy, and but the closure formula still worked. Okay, so fast forward from that. Now we're back to RJ. You got to defend your belt again. Now, what's funny about this is I said, hey guys, I don't really see what the point of this is. Like, we're kind of beating a dead horse. Don't you think it would be better if, like, you made me like a judge or a commentator or something? Like, did we really want to see RJ win again? And they were like, nah, bro. Like, you've got to defend your belt. So I was like, all right.
That's what the people want to see.
We'll defend the belt. Anybody watch the 2023 Closers Olympics? Yep. So we saw what happened there. Vegas odds came back, right? I became way heavy favorite, $100 to win $1. You know, Jerry Norton said he wanted to be entertained during the 2023 Closers Olympics. So I said, all right, fine, I'll be the Netflix of closing, right? Double down on it. Won again, right back here. This time I got to do it from my friendly confines of my office. That pour beer on I didn't do that one, but. This was the moment right here that pretty much everything, all the conversation ended as far as king closer talk. And I've never really liked to use that term because I think it's like egotistical. It's not really something I don't go around and be like, I'm the king closer. But where it came from was obviously that's what they put on the belts. That's what Closers Olympics said. The winner would be called the king closer. And then following up winning 2023 Closers Olympics, Cassie and I went to Family Mastermind, which is a mastermind of pretty much all of the top real estate investor, vendors, educators, whatnot. And I'll never forget everyone saying, hey, why are y'all so stuck on this titanium thing? I was like, that's our brand. What do you mean? And they're like, nah, bro. This is the brand that the people have given you. Like, you earned that one. You didn't go out and say, I want to be Titanium Investments. You went out and you became the king closer. And it was hilarious because I looked at Cassie that night and I said, I don't know how I feel about what some of the people are telling us, because it wasn't just, I mean, it was Brent, it was Jamil, it was Robert Winsley, amongst others, including Matt Andrews. And I remember telling Cassie, I was like, I don't like it because it's saying I'm the king closer. And this has never been about me. It's always been about us. And when we collectively made the decision that we were okay to do this, because it's like we say all the time, I couldn't have won those without her. It's not that I'm the king closer. It's that we are the king closer. It's that anyone in here can be a king closer. The king closer is a much bigger thought than, hey, just winning some belts, winning a competition. It's what we did on repeat to win these belts. We can transpire that to anyone. We've done it with 21-year-olds, 19-year-olds we brought in here and taught them how to do it. Okay? So when we decided that we were going to embrace that, I always talk about it, it's embracing moments. That's me on stage at Wholesaling Live, close the deal. That's Aaron Bevins. Actually, Rumor is that's the last time Aaron Bevins actually saw a deal gets closed live.
He's also the king shit talker.
But I always talk about embracing moments, embracing the fact that the Closers Olympics happen, the 50-day challenge happened, embracing the moment sitting in a Kia Soul where Cassie said, hey, I want to start a business, and embracing that moment, that was life-changing for us.
That was me just following what the good Lord told me to do. I don't know why. I still to this day have no idea. Like, just a wild hair. I'm like, you know what? We should be business owners. Where does that come from even? Like, I was not raised by entrepreneurs. My dad's a freaking rocket scientist and my mom works in IT. Like, you know, like they expected me to go be a doctor, and I went and got a degree to be an art teacher. Like, what in the world? His parents were the entrepreneurs, so why was I the one going like, we should start our own business? And like, I 1,000% confident that this is what we should do. I had no idea what the business was. Like, sometimes you just know, you know?
It's like this one. Sometimes you just know, right? He didn't know I was adding this one.
Oh, I'm going to get emotional about this one.
So this is our last ever Crucible. We had back, what was that, October? So October. That strapping young lad, Nick, everyone knows Nick now, and Sima back there. Sima wasn't with us at the last Crucible, but she's been along for the ride ever since then. It was about this moment at the last Crucible. We had our first break. We had just done our little introduction, and I was like, all right, enough of the storytelling. We're about to start teaching you some shit. So go pee, and then, you know, come back, and we're going to get started. Nick, you know, he's sitting back there right back where you are. He stood up and came walking right up to me. And I'm like, oh, God dang it. I've been talking for 90 minutes straight. The last thing I want to do is talk during the pee break, you know, and he comes right up to me.
Let me have a drink and get my voice back and pee.
And we started talking, and I don't really know what it was. But just there was the instinct, there was the intuition, there was a feeling of like, dude, there's something about this guy.
And that's literally what you said.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll pay attention. That's what he came and told me.
Yeah.
Out of that break, hey, there's something about that guy, that Nick. You know, he was talking to me during break. I'm like, yeah, I saw. And he's like, there's something about him. I'm like, okay, I'll pay attention.
But that's
all he said.
This is why I say, hey, embrace moments, because you never know when they're going to come. You never know when, you know, your partner says something and 14 years later you're going to be quoting that damn sentence over and over. Hey, we should start a business. Just be yourself, right? You never know when a moment's going to happen. Just be open to embrace those moments. They can be life-changing. Us bringing Nick and Simon on has been the reason why there's as many people in this room. It's been the reason why our content has gotten so much better. It's the reason why I am now on a much different mission than I was on a couple of months ago. Where I can look at people and say, I'm going to be the person that changes the thought contagion in this industry. I'm going to be changing the way that we do virtual wholesaling. I'm going to change the way that we do real estate. Burton said it the other day, and it blows my mind because we're definitely not there yet. But Burton from PropStream literally said it during the live. He said, RJ, you have changed the way people do real estate. Prior to 2020, people did not do deals in 15 minutes. They did deals in 15 days. Now you're telling people it's okay to do it this way.
Well, and it's not only that, but like he told us straight up, and actually multiple people have told us this, and we don't realize it. And this is also why we were like, education, we don't want to do that for a while, because we didn't realize, but Burton said it very well, and we've been told this by a lot of people, like we have been the pioneers. We have revolutionized the way that this is done, and it's not just because of the fact that we can do one call closes, or we don't take 15 days, or we don't have a 9,000 page script, or that we don't do this, that, or the other. It's because of the training. It's because of the work. It's because of the reps. It's because we demand that you be masters. We demand that from our team. We're just showing you how we do things. And there's not another way to us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how people do it any other way.
But to your point, we don't buy into the thought contagion.
Yeah.
We don't accept excuses. We don't make up stories. We might have reasons. We'll come up with solutions. Okay? These are the foundational elements that we're going to beat into your heads until you start talking like it. Okay? Because these are the things that have enabled us to be successful. So we embrace that moment. All right? And Nick and Sam have been life-changing. So you guys show them the same respect that you show us, because without them, we would not be on the path that we're on. So I'm so excited to have you guys. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. So does it look a little bit different? That was the first closer's formula. It's a little bit different, right? That's us there talking about the moments of brace. There's Nick and Sima and Nick's dad right there, learning the closer's formula, right? They were here during the first one. All right. Let's see. We're ahead of schedule, aren't we, Nick? You know why?
Boss.
Because we are going to close some fucking deals today. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. All right. We're going to get into the closer's formula. Let's take like a 15-minute break, okay? And then we're going to come back. We're going to get into, let me give you a brief rundown on what the day is going to look like, okay? We're going to talk about how to talk to sellers, how to close deals, okay? This is going to be your opportunity at the end. I'm going to go through the closer's formula. Most of you already know it. It's going to be opportunities to ask questions. Then we're going to eat some badass lunch. Cassie's going to talk about comps.
No, Cassie's going to show you the secret sauce behind the closer's
There
formula.
you go. Then, in the back, we're going to take you back there. We're going to have a comp relay race, okay?
Underwriting relay race.
Whoever wins gets to eat the really good food tonight. Whoever loses, you don't get food tonight. Okay?
Starve.
So, no, I'm just playing. The other thing is, after that, then we're going to get into live seller calls. Okay? And then that'll take us to the end of the rest of the day. Tonight, we're going bowling. We're going to have some fun. In the back, that will be where we do the comp relay race. There's 5 stations set up. The other thing is when we're doing seller calls, that is where the contracts will be written up and sent out. We do not want you back there unless you are sending out a contract and you're sending it out with our team. Okay?
And
so
no food or drinks.
So we can.
My real computer is back there right now.
So we can kind of keep it, open for the people that are actually sending out contracts. One of the things we learned from the first closers formula, as soon as we told people to start calling, they spread out like flies, and they were like everywhere. I mean, we had people in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the hallway. I mean, we couldn't have places. So we're like, all right, that's where the contracts are going to be sent. Anywhere else, you're free to go. Just leave that to when you're sending a contract. All right, 15-minute potty break, and we'll pick it up from there.